Might as well bring my guest in after I give him his proper due. Two-time All-American at the University of North Carolina. He is also one of the greatest DBs of all time in college history. He was drafted in '99, where he ended up playing for the greatest show on turf, where he won the Super Bowl with the St. Louis Rams. Two-time Pro Bowler with the Detroit Lions, where he came in '03 when I was at Michigan. We'll get into that. One of my really good big brother friends back in the day would take care of me. And now he goes back to coach at University of North Carolina under Mack Brown, where it all started for him. And now, ladies and gentlemen, he is a Detroit Lion. Coaching the DB is the position right now that we are most excited about. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dre Bly.
Yeah, Dre. Yes, sir. Dre Bly. Coach Bly.
Excuse me.
Coach Bly.
It's Coach Bly. Coach Bly. What's the word, brother?
What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
I can't complain. I'm doing well, man. Good to talk to you. Good to talk about these Lions, man. I'm excited.
Hey, Dre, how did this happen? How did this happen? Talk to me about how this happened. I mean, when it was revealed that you were coming back to Detroit to be a coach, the city of Detroit really got excited about this. And just from your perspective, how did it all go down?
Aaron Glenn was a guy that I kind of shadowed when I started to get into this coaching. I had a chance to do a minority internship with the New Orleans Saints. Ronald Curry is one of my good friends who's now the quarterback coach with the Saints. He helped me get into the Saints and had a chance. I was transitioning out of football and was trying to figure out what was next. And I had got very involved in Charlotte and realized I had a passion in coaching. And so one of my mentors, Fred Winfield, who's the COO of the Charlotte Hornets, told me I need to go try this coaching out. And so I wanted to first try a couple of NFL camps to see if I could handle the time and if it was something that I would, be interested in doing. And so I went to New Orleans, had a chance to shadow AG and loved it and learned a lot from him. Had a chance to be with Dan when I was down there and just started building relationships, man. And ever since I left New Orleans Saints, I think it might have been 2017, we stayed in touch. I've followed those guys, and the biggest thing I say with coaching is keeping relationships open, staying in touch with guys, and that's what we're able to do. And when the opportunity presented itself, I jumped on it.
Dre, Detroit Lions we were here in 2003 to 2006. We know the state of the Detroit Lions. Then 2 years ago, or a year ago, the Detroit Lions are 3-13-1. This year, they're coming off a season where they're 9-8. So much momentum. They're doing things the right way. Talk about where Detroit was when you were here versus where it looks like now when you come back.
Well, it's completely different than what it looked like when I was here. We were,
you did your thing.
But it's a team game, right? Yeah. And we just didn't get the results that we wanted. I thought we had some years of having top picks and was able to get some of the best college players that was available, and it just didn't materialize the way everybody wanted it to, and so therefore we didn't have the best years. And then to look at what they're doing now. What Dan has been able to do, what Brad Holmes been able to bring in. They have a plethora of young talent. And most importantly, they have a great leader in Dan. And, he's been able to lead a group of guys and get guys to buy in for his method and what he believes in. And that's why you've been able to see the results that they've gotten. And so just me being excited to come back, I wanted it so badly for Detroit when I played. I was very involved and ingrained into the community of Detroit. And so when the opportunity presented itself to come back, man, I was so excited because I wasn't able to provide something that I wanted to provide when I played in Detroit. So having a chance to come back on the other side and to see the way that they're trending, I want to be a part of that, man. And having a chance to be Dan's teammate when I played here. And, Ray Agnew, who's the assistant GM, we were teammates. Brad Holmes he went to North Carolina A&T, so there's a lot of like-minded guys, I think, on his staff, which I'm excited to be a part of, and I'm ready to get going.
It's funny, you talk about guys you play with. I look at that staff. Steve Hyden was a tight end when I played for the Cleveland Browns. Hank Fraley was a center. He came over from Philly from the Cleveland Browns. Antoine Randall played against him. Yourself, big brother of mine. So a lot of connection. You talk about players buying into Dan Campbell. Well, the players right now that we're most excited about, it's got to be the defensive backs that we bought in and we're going to be under your tutelage. Talk about that room. Those guys have already bought in, and they ain't put a helmet on yet, Dre.
Well, I think for the most part, the one thing with, Aaron and I talked about when we got here, even with Dan, we wanted guys that can impact the game the way that DBs should, and that's getting the balls in their hands, making plays. And so the first thing we wanted to look for were guys that who have high ball production. And, some of the guys that we were able to bring on have been highly productive with making plays. And so we're excited as an organization, as a team, to for the new pieces that we've added. We're excited for the guys that we have returning, and look forward to the draft to try to continue to improve this team so we can give ourselves a chance to compete in this North and do great things.
Talking to Lions defensive backs coach Dre Bly, one of the greatest defensive players ever to wear the uniform in Detroit, two-time Pro Bowler, back here coaching those DBs. I wanted to ask you about the biggest challenge you think you face now going from the college game coaching at North Carolina to coaching the professional game. What do you think that jump will be like? What is your biggest challenge as you see it right now?
I would say my biggest jump is not utilizing my phone, right? Recruiting. I'll probably say the biggest adjustment would be not recruiting, right? Knowing that we have a front office who picks players, who do all the scouting, do all the evaluating. We still evaluate guys, but that's the biggest adjustment. It's still football. And the best part about, I say, the NFL is, I think, it's more teaching, right? It's all ball, which I'm excited to be a part of. I love ball, man. I can teach. I can get out there on the grass. I can demonstrate. I'm still in great shape. So there won't be no big adjustment, man. The biggest thing I say, what Dan, was looking for, he wanted a guy that can come in, lead a group of guys, a guy that can teach those guys how to be pros, guy that is a guy that's confident. I'm confident in my abilities. I was confident in my abilities as a player, and I'm confident in my abilities as a coach. So I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to get working with Aaron and the other DB coach, Brian Duker, and to help provide something that you guys haven't seen in the secondary around here in a long time. And that's guys that can make plays and be highly productive.
Oh, man, we cannot wait. Hey, Dre, Tom Mazaway, thanks for coming on with us. We appreciate it. I just want to, on a side note, before I give you my question, I was the PA announcer when you were playing, and I gave you were always the last guy I announced, and I gave you the Michael Jordan treatment. I gave you Dre Bly, number 32 from North Carolina. Number 32. Yeah. That was me.
There we
I
go.
just want you to know that.
There we go.
I remember the voice, but that's the thing about Detroit, and that's why I'm so excited to be back. I tell people all the time, if we were able to give Detroit a winner, it would have been beautiful, man, because the support system is amazing. It's a football state. It's amazing fans. So I'm excited to be back, man. I appreciate everything, man. I look forward to this upcoming season.
Hey, Dre, I wanted to ask you about, have you been following the Lions all these years? And you just said it. We're long-suffering fans here. You played for a Super Bowl champion. I mean, our fans, we haven't had a playoff win since 1991. I mean, you know what the scoop is. Have you been following this team, and where do you think they're going from here?
Well, I haven't, because I've been in college, so it's kind of hard to really watch NFL games on Sunday, because mostly what we do on Sundays was evaluating tape and evaluating the game from Saturday. So sure. I would catch Sunday night football and catch Monday night, and if the Lions played on Sunday night and Monday night, I was able to watch the game. But I just know I know they didn't start well last year, but they finished tremendously well, finishing 8-2. And I tell people all the time, man, it's typically not how you start, it's how you finish. Going into December, and November, December will give you a shot to be playing in the postseason. And so I do know the year I won the Super Bowl in '99. The year before that, we were 3-13. Oh, and yeah. People don't understand that it's the best led teams is what win games. And I had the chance to play for a phenomenal coach just for 1 year, Dick Vermeil. And the one thing I would say about Dickie V was he was a great leader. He had everybody brought in, our locker room, the bond, the brotherhood that we had was tremendous, but it all trickled down from up top. And so it's the best led teams to me that win football games. And so I think that's something that we have here in Detroit. You know, I talked about the staff that Dan was able to put together. It's different, man. I don't think there's another staff, or at least not many like us in the NFL, man. We have a lot of like-minded guys. I think a very guys is very secure in their abilities and who they are. A lot of guys I got a lot in common with. And so I'm excited, man. And so I'm excited to be a part of it. I look forward, getting with those guys. Even Coach John Fox, man. Coach John Fox was added to our staff, man. And, I mean, he has a plethora of experience and stories. And, you know, he's coached a lot of great guys. And so I'm excited to have a chance to work with him. And so I know that at the end of the day, we'll win championships, we'll lead guys to championships, are great leaders. And I would say that this staff I'm confident in saying that this staff has some outstanding leaders. And I'm excited to be a part of that group of men.
That is awesome.
Hey, Dre, I wanted to ask you about a guy you're going to be coaching and a guy that gets a lot of attention around here, and that's Jeff Okudah, former number 3 overall pick. He's a guy that had some injury problems early. He did show flashes of really good football last year, didn't finish up the year as well as he would like. When you put the tape on and you watch Jeff Okudah, what is your early impression of that young man, and how much can he grow?
Well, Jeff, you know, he's a guy that loves ball. You know, obviously he was a top pick. I haven't met him, don't really know much about him. You know, we talked when I got hired, and I had a couple of conversations, so I don't really haven't laid eyes on him in person. But just like you said, he was a guy that did some good things this past year. I would say for the most part is, being available, right? Fighting past the injury bug and being out there. But he's a guy that, you know, a lot of people are excited about. He was obviously a top pick, came from Ohio State, and I'm sure Braden probably don't like that. But
not at all, brother. Not at all.
But, you know, I know we had a talented team prior to the signings that we had, and I'm interested to see, get going in the next couple of weeks or so after the draft.
You talk about leadership, Dre. It's so great when the coaches and all the coaches are great leaders. But how important is it for a player to step up and really lead this team? And how difficult is that when the team is so young? What sets that apart? Can a young guy be a leader in the NFL?
Yeah, 100%. You know, you would like for it to be an older guy, but Torrey Holt as a young player was a leader. He was a guy that led by example. You know, he might not have been the most vocal early on, but by his work ethic, right? He was able to lead by his work ethic. You know, I led in a sense. You know, I wasn't the vocal leader. I was a guy, I was very confident in my abilities. I competed, right?
Yeah,
and so I led by how I competed every day. And so it's different types of leaders. I think for the most part, each player identify what type of leader that you are and leading that way. I think that's important, right? And so each player is different ways you can lead. And there's no rule to say you can't have 53 leaders, right? It's just like as a player, Braylon, I tell the players this. Whatever you are as a player, you make sure you major in that, right? You make sure you do that better than anything else. So when I'm evaluating tape, I'm able to know that that's what you represent. That's who you are as a player. And so, and the same thing with leadership, 100%. Right? Whoever you are as a leader, make sure that's how you lead. And so, but I just think, again, when it starts at the top from Dan, it can easily trickle down. And so, and I think that's why they finished the way you finished last year, right? They were in every game because of the message that was carried down from the boss man, right? So I'm excited to meet the guys. I'm excited for the way we're trending. I've seen it done, right?
Yeah,
Within the snap of a finger, you can go from being the bottom of the barrel to the cream of the crop. And I lost the Super Bowl, Braylon, in 2001 to the New England Patriots, right? And we were the greatest show. We were the greatest show on turf, right? We had won in '99. Nobody in their mama thought that the Patriots would beat us in New Orleans in 2001, the year of 9/11. And those guys believed. Those guys bought in. They were the well-coached team on that day. They probably had the best chemistry on that day. They competed harder than what we competed, and they were able to win because they believed. And so it's not the most talented team to me that wins. It's the team that's the best coach, the team that believes the most. And if you have an outstanding leader, those things can get done. And the other thing, I'm gonna leave you with this: it's important to set goals. And I think for the most part, our number one goal is, you want to try to win the division, right? And if you can win the division, anything else after that is possible.
And 100%.
Awesome.
I love you, brother, man. I tell people this all the time, man. You talk about my favorite era in college football. It definitely was that era that you guys played in. I look at the DBs back then, like that's my favorite era, defensive backs. Talking about you, talking about Chuck, talking about Champ, talking about Smoot. We was talking about Fred Smoot the other day. I don't know how his name came up on the show in Michigan. Here's a funny picture for you, and we're going to let you get out of here. Fletch, put the picture up. I don't know what I was doing on this play, but I know it was a flag, man. I don't know why it wasn't called.
Hold it.
Look,
pushing off. That's what you do. That is what you did, Brandon. Push off.
Hey, it's so funny because I went to find the picture. And I was like, dang, that was absolutely holding, man. But I usually don't hold, but I don't know. Man. I was trying to make a play on my big brother, man.
But like I say, like that's who you were as a player, right? You like contact. You embrace physical altercations out there on the field, right? And so every game, Bray, you was gonna push off, you was gonna be physical, be aggressive.
Whoa! Don't diminish me as a player. Don't be telling all my tricks of my trade, man. Jeez Louise.
And Dre, we cannot thank you enough for your time doing this with us. We love having you. We'd love to talk to you again.
Man, we appreciate that.
Hey, before we let you go, have you seen the draft board and who are you taking?
What? Listen.
Interview over.
Listen, right, I just got hired. You trying to get me fired?
Thanks, Dre. We appreciate it, my friend. Thanks so much. It's a great Dre Bly. It's a great Dre Bly. One of the great Lions of all time. Absolutely. And now he is back. We got to take a break. We'll come back.